Hello, welcome to my channel. This is Kimberly at Journal Breeze. Today I'm going to share, I think it might be kind of a unusual idea for a journal that you're making for someone else. And I also made a binding that I think is just really the perfect binding for a gift like this. Before I give you the flip through, I do just want to show you this rusted piece of muslin that I recently made. We had a lot of rain here, and there is a, like a doormat that's made out of iron that sits outside the doors that go to the deck. And it was just pouring rain. It was cold. The rain was supposed to come for the next few days. So I laid this piece of muslin that I had handy. And then I put a bunch of tiles, and I actually put wood on it at one point, which the wood now is black. But anyway, it was a process. I actually have it pictured in my Instagram account, which is also called Journal Breeze. My channel is Journal Breeze YT for YouTube. And my Instagram account is Journal Breeze. So if you're really interested in seeing how I did it, look for the pictures. It's not too far back, maybe like, not that far back, 3 weeks maybe, 4 weeks maybe. Anyway, I think it turned out cool. This is the back side. The front side doesn't have this coming down. It's a little bit more refined. All right, so now back to the journal. So clearly, the recipient of this book went to Rome, but in fact, they actually toured many of the major cities and destinations in Italy. And so I asked her before she left if she would send me any ephemera that she came across on the whole trip. Anything at all. Didn't matter what it was. And I emphasized at the time, this is kind of funny, receipts. And in my mind's eye, I'm actually thinking the receipts are going to be the old-fashioned handwritten type that are on kind of that gray paper that gets carbon copied. Needless to say, those were not the receipts that came back to me in a box after her return. And you'll see what I did with those. But she also sent, ticket stubs and bags and napkins. There's a lot of toilet paper you have to buy there, so there's some pretty backs of the toilet paper covers. Yeah, just pretty much everyday normal stuff, which is exactly what I wanted. Nothing special. And then I purchased some old books. This is one of them. This is from couldn't find a date in the book, but figure mid 20th century. And then the other book is mid 19th century. And I put those together with a variety of digitals. To find digitals that might suit you, just put Italian printables or printables Italy into Etsy, and there's a bazillion, and I picked the ones that fit my aesthetic, or better yet, my friend's aesthetic, really. And so she happens to be Italian, so and Catholic, so a little bit of the Vatican emphasis is, again, because it's for her, and I know that was an important part of her trip. So this is double, triple, I think maybe, 3 times. This was the book cover of the mid-20th century book, and then I took a picture out of it, and I glued it onto another picture. This is the Sistine Chapel, and then I glued everything together, and it took days. I flattened it. Same thing on the back. This was originally the cover of the book, but, and this is in front of the Vatican, I think. I don't know, but I think based on the pictures. And I opted not to glue to the very edge on this binding because I want these to be able to slide as much as is needed for when this book gets filled by her. Right now, it's got 3 signatures, and everything can be slid around to make it really big spaces between here. And of course, the spaces here only matter if this part gets fuller. So I think this binding is phenomenal. If you want a book that lays flat. I mean, look at this. Middle of a signature. Lays flat. This is between the signatures. And this is, again, well, it'll lay flat after it's, been, that's flat. That is flat. There's not, it's just high because there's so many signatures behind it. But imagine if they were all pressed together, that would not even lay down that flat. So it's just a great way to, it's the center of one, Vatican souvenir. This is what I did with the receipts, and this actually can be a tuck spot on either side, but I'm thinking this would be the side. And then I folded them in such a way that you can see different places they were at, and some of the backs I have interesting comments. There's room to put one of my charms that I made. I filled it with a brown circle of a cameo, and I felt like that would really, lend a lot to an Italian book. This is a beautiful piece of paper that was included in what she sent me, and this opens up to give the advertisement for this olive oil ranch they went to. I made a lot of belly bands, so that I could slip. This was from the inside of, I'm not sure what, inside of something, in one of the napkins that they sent. So with belly bands, it can actually hold things that she might otherwise paperclip. But I did put a lot of my faux tape on here because there was ripped edges of whatever I ripped it out of. And so I wanted to make sure those stayed safe. Plus, it'll be sliding in and out. But the main thing, isn't that beautiful? Isn't that just so serene? I left a lot of things really, really blank. Wanted there to be just tons of room for my girlfriend to write whatever she wants, and of course post a lot more pictures and postcards and things they kept for themselves from different exhibits they went to and whatnot. So there is really way more blank than there is anything else. But I did find some really cool digitals I liked in terms of ephemera. I'm guessing these came from the same pack. Don't ask me what it is. I don't recall. But I picked ones that look like you were traveling. So they look like postcards, or they look like stamped envelopes. And I put these in here. Well, this one I backed with, pretty blue paper that I embossed. So that was just for fun. But some of the other ones are postcard-like, and I backed them with paper, pretty paper that went with it all. That they could write on, or they could attach something if they wanted. And then I placed some of the things they sent me into the pockets. And this is one of the places that they stayed. And this is the guest soap that went with this hotel. And so I did try to group things that seemed to, I got a lot of ephemera from this place. So that obviously really was enjoyed by them and made for a happy memory. So I placed things. Let's see, where's the other part of that I placed? I moved it. Let me see if I can find it, and you'll understand. A lot of thought went into this, as empty as it may be. This is another postcard that I printed out, and this I printed out because of the color. Went really well with this. And then this is from a travel magazine. This is the other thing I used. I cut out, it says Memoir, Italy. And then I backed it with some toilet paper cover. And I think this is from like a travel brochure, multi-page brochure that I get in the mail all the time. And I cut out the pretty pictures, so I went through the ones from Italy. Let me see if I can find. This is a tuck spot. Almost everything that looks like it's flat is a tuck spot. Where is that one that I just, let me try to find it so I don't lose sight of what I'm looking for here. It's right on this edge too. Well, it's more from that same, well, maybe it's not. Maybe I'm wrong. Okay, so anyway, when I do see it, so I don't know if going through this is really going to be required page by page, but I did make tuck spots out of a lot of things. And I chose this here because the colors were so beautiful, and it follows on the heels of pictures from the mid-1900s book, and which I decided not to glue down, but to paperclip, because they can write behind it and then put this on top. They can read the back. They can throw it away. They can use it somewhere else. This I glued down. These were on the same page. There's like 3 in a row, I think. It was a pretty big book. And it's the Holy Staircase and the Holy Staircase interior and exterior. So I decided to make this one a tuck and this one like this, to tuck inside, leaving a lot of room for writing around it. So I tried to make it both a pretty journal. This is the Vatican, I think. And then also have little bits of their memories put on the different pages. This is a toilet paper roll. This is one of the napkins they sent. And I just think it's kind of cool to include it here because it says flying there and begins memories, what I think it says. Or begins, I don't want to take it out because it's hard to put in, but begins, I think, memories is written down here below. And that's what this is all about. So this whole page, they can write on, they can do pictures on, and of course, same thing with this. So I picked a lot of beige backgrounds. This would be meaningful to her. This is just such a beautiful page, such a beautiful picture that I put that there. More of the same. This was a store that she shopped at that was really meaningful. And then one of the fun things that happened was on some of the smaller pieces they sent, this is just a business card size. I don't look at this, it doesn't mean anything to me. But when you read a little bit more, you find out that, actually I don't think it says that, I'm not sure, but I realized that I had seen this picture in the 1850s book, and not knowing if they had gone there or not. It says St. Mark's Cathedral. I did cut it out because it was a cathedral and was pretty, and I didn't want to glue it down because these are also really pretty pictures of it and horses that I guess are in front of it. And so come to find out, this new business card that they got is the same picture as this. So I don't have their itinerary. I don't know where they went, but now there's a drawing and the real thing from the 1850s. And then this is also from that same book, same cathedral, St. Mark's. So I ended up grouping them together. I had no idea what I was going to do with what to me was disparate ephemera and meaningless to me because I didn't know where they went. So honestly, I felt like I was guided through making this once I finally got over the, what am I going to do for the background? How am I going to set it up? What binding am I going to use? Finally, I just started to go, and I just started with Signature 1, and I just thought, Signature 1, beginning of the trip. Vatican I put in the middle because I had quite a bit of Vatican stuff, and then in the end I put kind of what was left over. So Florence is where these places are. I love this digital of it says Florentine and Roman mosaics, so I stuck a mosaic picture from the book into here. It didn't occur to me to read it that carefully and do this, but that's what ended up happening. And then of course lots of space to put a picture, just to put it here and let this stay, or maybe they want to write in here. Yeah, it just fell into place. I put the thick and wide maps that I decided to not cut up. The colors were so perfect for it. Inside of here, and then I made this a little pocket, back side of the receipts. I left this visible, and then here more of the receipts to cover up kind of an ugly, ads for hotels and stuff. So lots of room for writing on both sides. So it was really, really fun this is a ticket. This is something else that they went to. I put this here because of the blue here. Again, another map, her brochure that really means something to her. This at first I thought was the same building, but now I realize that this kind of building is everywhere. So I'd already glued it down when I realized that they were not the same place, but very, very similar. And so, and beautiful, of course, and that sunset's beautiful. And so I folded this over because I thought that was also beautiful coloring that goes with that. And then I made it open. They can slip something in there, use it as a pocket or a tuck. They can write under it. They can certainly write above it. So just have fun. Just find papers that you love. This flips up to have writing under here. This is a bag that they sent that I think is just so beautiful, and I put some goodies in there. I covered up the white spot where this ripped with one of those, with a little tab that I glazed. And then this is actually the front and the back, and this is sort of a shiny emblem. See, can you get the shine? It's sort of like a hologram emblem. And so I put that there. This is from the inside of a it's like a fortune cookie, but it came not in a cookie, it came in another way. And that's the first page. And I thought, isn't that kind of a cool way to open the book? So let me see if there's anything else in this chapter, in this, not chapter, it kind of is like a chapter in my mind. Showed you that. This they sent the entire top to the cookie can. So clearly this is a meaningful thing. And I actually cut it up, and then I'll show you what I did with some other parts. But I always kept, oh, this is what I was looking for. This is the placemat, or coaster. This is, the coloring's really good. I don't recall if this is in that town, maybe. And then this is cut from the packaging of this, I do believe. And there's more to come on that. This was a whole box they sent, and I cut it in half. And this was a napkin, and there's a piece of ephemera inside to make it stiff. And I thought it was cool to have all these up and down things on this pillared piece. And then this is the other side. It's red, and this is the Sistine Chapel's a close-up, you know, of the picture that's so famous. And then this is another picture of it, a long picture of it. And this pink napkin I included here. And then this is a picture I tucked in here from, I believe, like a museum at the Vatican, or one of the museums. And this beautiful, gorgeous ceiling with all the gold, so it might still be the Vatican. Just love that. I kept the plain. For a while I thought about making it a pocket, but it ended up best working this way. And just this didn't look very appealing, and I wanted to play up the red, and I wanted to put this here anyway. This piece of money. Again, this is a purchased digital. Let's see. This is another place where I put the postcards. Postcard-like, they're not even the size, so these are some digitals that I put pretty green paper on the back that's the same color as what's on here. And then this is the center, and this is a bag from the Vatican. So you can, so I ripped off the edges, left it open for them to put things in, and then put it like this. They fit, they were framed, and then this one goes like that. And I think it looks really good when it's open, and also good when it's closed. And I did distress things. I distressed most of the things that were fake. But look how flat. This is the center of this book, of this whole book. And look at how flat that lays. I mean, you guys, this is the binding to make, let me tell you. This is a tuck. Love this. Cut it out specifically because of the orange in here and the blue. Just love it. Cut it out of a book page that had more religiosity down here. tried to match the colors. It took me, honestly, many tries, many copies made to do double-sided. Oh my gosh, so much ink. If you don't want to use your ink, this is not the project for you. It was days and days of figuring out how to put the blank signature pages. I hadn't gotten to any of this stuff. Just coming up with what I was going to use, finding things to use. It was I don't regret a moment. I did it out of love. I did it because I know this was a really meaningful trip to them, and I took a lot of effort to make it really special. It will speak to them. And then it took a long time to do each signature. So it's late. It was a Christmas gift. This is a business card from one of the places I stayed, and it's on the same canal as this. So it took reading a lot of the small print. That is for sure. And then I just tucked little things in here, like this is really folded over, and this is the other side of it. And so it could be it was a tuck spot for another little poem that they might enjoy that I didn't want to rip up. And I don't think that's particularly attractive, and I have no idea if they ate there. So I put this on top. So all of these wonderful pictures that, like this is the apostles, this is something else inside of that, St. Mark's, the canals, I just left it there. And that's what you can do on something like this. I mean, I showed you that. Okay, and then we're in the last one. I showed you, I think, most of this. Another tuck. Showed you that. Oh, look at this is the inside to the Colosseum from that old book. Isn't that just so cool to be able to, I'm sure they saw it, no doubt, but to just have it. And then this is a rendering of it, which is, renderings. Ugh. The real thing is just so cool. That's why I like that book. It took a long time to find the book, but I did. I found it at my local library's bookstore. That's where I found it. Yeah, real find. Okay, so love this. Kept a lot of this blank because I knew it was the end of the book, and I didn't want to have taken up too much space with my own displays. Put a couple more pieces of ephemera that I printed out, and that's it. So I'm sure you understand about how to make this binding, but have you ever done it? So here's the tips that I would give you. First of all, I used wired canvas. I watched two channels. And don't ask me. It was like Country Morning Craft or something like that, and from 4 years ago. And then one with glitter. She does stories. She does digitals that tell a story, and then you watch her YouTube. I unsubscribed, so I don't even have any way of looking it up. But glitter, glam and glitter, or some two G's in her Etsy name, in her YouTube name, and so I took from both of them and I did my own. They weren't very successful in my opinion because it was too wobbly and too loose. So I made teeny tiny itty bitty holes. I did not use an awl. I used just a little pokey tool to make the holes. I used a paper string, where they do raffia really tiny, and they sell it wrapped around cardboard like at Michael's. So it's never going to stretch. It's made of paper. I used canvas, thick canvas that's got wire edges. Thick wire edge canvas. I bought it used. So don't ask me anymore. And I put, when I was figuring out how high to make it, knowing that it was going to get filled, I put a whole bundle, a big thick bundle of folded yard of fabric in here. It was about the same size. It hung out. but I put it on here. Of course, it had some weight, but it raised up the cover quite a bit, and that is where I decided to glue these. So it looks pretty decent now because I've had it out for a while and I've played with it, but at the time it seemed like, wow, I'm really making it big. So unless it's your own travel journal and you already stuff everything in there before you put them on, which I would absolutely recommend, that you don't put these on until the whole thing is stuffed. But if you're going to make it as I did, as a post-trip memoir to your friend, then I suggest you do something to bulk it up in order to emulate future ephemera before you decide where these are going to be, right? Better too big, because look, it looks fine, too big, than too small. Or you're going to get them off, and then what's the point? And then after you can't string them through until you have to string them through. All right. So unlike the other people who made a lot of holes, I made 3 holes. These were wide. I would recommend you pick wide. Why have 3 loose ones when you can have 2 wide ones? And I made the holes very close to them. So the holes were determined by the width of my canvas piece. People, this is quite tight. If it weren't for the fact that these signatures can slide along it, which is what makes it lie flat, so I'm not complaining, you would not even think that it was a loose binding. It's that good. So as I go forward and make these again, I will continually look for the features that this one offers and put it together, with tiny holes and paper, or completely non-able to ever stretch. I don't know, I find wax thread stretches, I find lots of things stretch, and catch and different things. So, who knows, after they use it a while, maybe I'll find out I'm wrong. This is where I'm at right now. This is what I'm sharing. And then I also cut the cover larger all the way around by a little bit, but I ended up realizing that the weight would be a lot. So if I were to place these signatures up, well, they do look like they're up right now, but they're not. They lay exactly with it. I mean, I don't know, maybe it's like 1/32 of an inch below it, but I didn't want the weight to pull them down. So I ended up having more at the top and more on the side because I didn't want to have any more wiggle room. And I decided not to cut this off because if they have stuff that sticks out, it will be protected. So I think this is a smart move that I would do intentionally, making it bigger. And same thing at the top. If they end up putting it in a bookshelf, then it can stand well, and they could have stuff in there and it won't get squished in the back or on the top. I think that's a great way to do it. So I hope that this has given you some ideas. I think it's a gift they're going to cherish forever and pass down in their family. Maybe it's just me wishful thinking, but I know her so well and her family, and I think it'll be special to all of them. And I look forward to, I hope she's still got the zeal to fill and write, putting in stuff, but actually writing about it and getting those memories back. What a beautiful thing to have that opportunity to rehash and rethink. So I'm writing her a letter about how to use it and what to do with it, because she's not a journal maker. And of course I'll talk with her on the phone and suggest she watches this video. But I also said I'm also thinking I'm going to write in a letter to open it with your husband, because I think the both of them rediscovering it together, because she has no idea what's in it, will make it really, really fun. And they can play off each other and remind each other of different things that meant something to them. So it can be a complete walk down memory lane as well. So that's it, guys. I hope this meant something to you all. I'd love to hear your feedback, what you think about it, anything you would have done differently or added, or things for the future to keep in mind from your experience. All of that would be really, really great, because I actually spent so much time putting the pages together that I've ended up copying many of the same for myself, and then made just a few changes, and I'm going to make one for myself. I'm not sure how I'm going to decorate it because I gave her all the souvenirs she gave me, of course, and that's fine and that's cool. I'm going to come up with my own reason for making it, but the papers just really moved me. I just love them, and I want to do something. And I don't even know what I'm going to do for the cover, so we'll see. It'll be fun. It'll be a challenge. So that's it. I hope you have a great day, and thank you for watching. Bye-bye.